The gym, was there any conversation around that at all?
Nah, even if it was, I don't even speak on, what other people got going on, I would love to.
Interview Shakur Stevenson had Eddie Hearn, Terence Crawford, and Floyd Mayweather watch him spar during the week, which surprised him. However, an argument between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather occurred after the session, and the two were ringside in the gym as he worked out in preparation for his next fight against Floyd Sheffield on February 22nd. Speaking to Combat Hype, "I'm always setting up these plays, but I don't always get the credit I deserve. Nevertheless, I put together a nice little play and had everyone pull up to the gym. I appreciate those guys for coming and supporting me. I just try to take in the information and advice they give me." Stevenson said of the meeting of minds in boxing this week, "Man, I don't know how they were all there in the gym. I feel like I need an extra check for that." Hearn defeated Mayweather in the match room when he attempted to sign Stevenson in the past.
Hold me back! Hold me back! You a fight, Eddie!
While Hearn and Floyd Mayweather were supposed to put aside their rivalry in order to joke and talk with each other, Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather had their friendship sour. Stevenson is expected to have a big year, but he needs to be impressive next month. As for Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather, they had a brief argument after Crawford stated that he was certain he would defeat Mayweather.
That day?
Nah, it just was talking about like my boxing. It wasn't nothing about no Kid Austin, the fight that I got coming up. It was more so just
However, what first drew them together was Shakur Stevenson's training regimen. People are unaware of how incredibly hard Shakur trains, but this quote from Hearn provides a little glimpse into his mindset. They will occasionally tell you that going without sleep and rest breaks is a necessary part of any high-level world championship. Professional boxer's life.
Yeah, what was, so I mean, look, it ain't the first time you've been around Floyd. It ain't the first time you've been around any of those guys. But, that day, especially with you having this fight and, a lot of people saying that maybe Kid Austin isn't ready for you. What kind of talk? What was the conversation like in the gym that day?
Nah, it just was talking about like my boxing. It wasn't nothing about no Kid Austin.
It's crucial to know when to fight, train, and rest. Terence was watching Shakur Stevenson spar last night, and Hearn talked to IFL about what he witnessed from Stevenson in the gym this week. "One of the things I enjoy about being in places like that is witnessing the passion for the sport." Shakur performed 14 rounds of 4 minutes each with 30-second pauses. After watching the entire session, Terence and Floyd decided to watch Ray Ford spar in a different ring. Floyd is a huge boxing fan. Terence has a strong interest in boxing and enjoys watching young fighters give advice and watching members of his community compete. The bouts, which lasted 14 minutes with 30-second breaks and little rest, were really cool, and it was obviously difficult for whoever was sparring with Stevenson. Stevenson suffered a severe hand injury last year that sent him to the hospital at one point. This year will probably be huge for him, because he will likely fight on February 22nd on one of the greatest shows in boxing history.
So if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Oh, shit, okay, I'm just asking.
However, Crawford asserted that if he and Floyd Mayweather ever faced off, he would prevail. This was at the time that the Omaha switch hitter, the undefeated boxing legend, was active. With 31 stoppages under his belt, Nebraska is a 4-weight world champion. He most recently defeated Israel Madreo by decision to win the World Boxing Association world title in the super welterweight division, which was the 4th division in which Crawford has won titles. He is also undisputed in 2-1 of just 3 men, something that has only happened once in the 4-belt era, and as he continues to establish himself as the greatest of a generation, fans are discussing how he stacks up against the all-time greats. Floyd Mayweather, the last dominant American, is the opponent in one intriguing fantasy game.
The fight didn't say anything. You didn't talk to him about it. Floyd
Sorry.
Not a peep.
Not a word.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Cash, one of the most wealthy boxing stars. Mayweather famously retired unbeaten in 2017. The defense master overcame Canelo Alvarez and other opponents, Pacquiao, Manny Oscar de la Hoya, and Shane Mosley. If the two had met and the $1 Million Game podcast had asked Crawford how he would perform versus Mayweather, would he be on that list? Crawford backed me against everyone without hesitation. Crawford's personal trainer. Although he acknowledges that he is biased like Crawford, Brian B.A.C. McIntyre makes the same prediction. Since Crawford is like my kid, I will constantly accompany him. Terence possesses that dog. It took Terence years and years to reach his current position.
That would have been a hard fucking fight, though.
Man, me versus anybody, I'm gonna always say me.
However, it will always be up for dispute if Bud could overcome Mayweather's celebrity defenses. If you put Bud in his peak beside Mayweather in his prime, then obviously Mayweather will be the smarter one, but I believe Bud will have more dog in him. The battle between Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez in September seems more probable, to him at the moment. Shakur Stevenson believes Terence Crawford will easily defeat Canelo Alvarez. According to Stevenson, the lightweight champion of the World Boxing Council, he has been predicting for years that Crawford will defeat Canelo.
As a Canelo and obviously your good friend, mentor, Terence Crawford, a lot of people a few years ago would have said that's crazy, but I think everybody, when they see the talent of Terence Crawford, forget
Crawford, the 154-pound light middleweight champion of the World Boxing Association, has committed to gaining 14 pounds in order to engage in the eagerly awaited fight, which is likely to be the highest-paying day of his career. When asked if he thinks Crawford will win that fight, Stevenson responded with confidence. I've been saying this for years. I'm probably the first person to say it. Even before Terence said this, I always believed that he wins Canelo in a Crawford-style matchup. Canelo stated, speaking about sport boxing, Shakur Stevenson gives the impression that Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez will square off in September. But it seems improbable considering Crawford's typical strategy when fighting strong punchers.
He's a special fighter, pound for pound, I think many will say #1 in the world, alongside the likes of people like yourself and that great list that we've got at the minute.
He usually uses his jab to create movement and jumps into land strikes before swiftly shifting positions. Crawford doesn't remain motionless or launch constant assaults. Since it would be a little over a year and 13 months after his automobile accident, Spence wasn't at his best, so his aggressive performance against him was more of an anomaly. You have to be really cautious if you're going to fight over 160 pounds because that's a different weight range. It doesn't seem likely that Terence Crawford will risk a tune-up fight against a super middleweight before meeting Canelo Alvarez in September, according to Chris Manx on his YouTube channel.
Yes, honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know.
Crawford would most likely participate in the weight class at a catchweight, perhaps around 163 or 164 pounds, versus a middleweight moving up. Aaron McKenna could be one of his opponents. Smith, Liam Cerrone, or Austin Williams-Davis competitors that are lesser ranked in the middleweight division and don't represent much of a danger to Crawford. The biggest discussion of all time, in which many people disagree with Floyd Mayweather, is another debate that will continue to be discussed in the boxing community. Two boxing legends who have had a lasting impact on the sport are Roy Jones Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Both are considered to be the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of their respective eras, which has led to countless arguments over who should be crowned the greatest of all time.
Respect the Floyd 50-0, or is it like?
You gotta respect anything a person does if they're undefeated that long. So I respect it to a degree, yeah. Is it a 50-0 that I think, oh, he the greatest fighter all the time? Nah.
Many people believe that Mayweather is the best pound-for-pound fighter in history because of his flawless 50-0 record. His unbeatable defense and ability to manage the tempo of a bout make him a remarkable sight. In addition, he had 4 of the 5 highest-grossing pay-per-view events in boxing history during his career. However, Roy Jones Jr., the undisputed. Champion in 4 weight classes has a different perspective. In an interview with Real Life Productions, Jones Jr. was asked if he thought of Mayweather as the GOAT. Jones Jr. responded simply but firmly, "No, slick, but punishing." Throughout his illustrious career, Jones claimed top honors in 4 classes, defeating opponents like James and becoming the only man in almost a century to win a middleweight world title and then go on to win a heavyweight title. Antonio Tarver and Tony Bernard Hopkins have an unendingly entertaining interview. With a 50-0 perfect record at the end of his campaign, belts in 5 different divisions, and a defense that is widely regarded as the best in the business, Mayweather was one of the sport's most lucrative stars, taking home 4 of the top 5 most lucrative pay-per-view events, which speaks to real-life productions. When asked whether Money Mayweather's record made him the greatest of all time, Jones Jr. responded that it didn't, adding that there were more outstanding campaigns. "You have to respect anything a person does to stay undefeated that long. Respect it to a degree," Jones said. "Yes, I believe that he is the best fighter of all time. However, Julio Cesar Chavez went 80-0 at one point. Will you ever surpass that? No, he simply didn't stop. Floyd stopped after he reached 50-0, because to Rocky Marciano. If Rocky hadn't passed away, he most likely would have continued to live."
Chavez was 80-0 at one point. 80. He could have retired at 80-0. You go ever top that? No. He just didn't stop, right? You got to 50 and you stopped because of Rocky Marciano.
Right.
So Rocky died.
Jones then took issue in particular with Mayweather's farewell about a 10th round stoppage of UFC superstar Conor McGregor in his boxing debut. In the end, the debate over who is the GOAT will likely continue, fueled by the unique accomplishments and philosophies of these 2 icons of the sport. What was even more interesting was that after Mayweather and Crawford met, Eddie Hearn was also at the training camp to support Shakur Stevenson. Hence, it was becoming a small meeting. Of the biggest names in boxing, they say that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But in the times we live in, and with so many witnesses to what happens, especially if celebrities are present, it is difficult to keep it secret. And if you add to that equation the name of Floyd Mayweather, it is impossible to hide it. It turns out that a recent meeting between Money and the famous promoter, Eddie Hearn, in a gym in Sin City sparked sparks, and although the whole moment was wrapped in jocular comments, this does not mean that they were not throwing each other. It should be remembered that Hearn was repeating some time ago in every space. He was given that Floyd Mayweather had no money, or at least not the money he claims to have, and that this was why he was performing or looking for exhibition fights. Despite retiring from the professional ranks in 2017, Mayweather has been fighting in a number of lucrative exhibitions against lesser opponents like D.I. and Logan. According to numerous reports, Mayweather's current net worth is approximately $400 million, which has allowed him to live an extravagant lifestyle outside of the squared circle. He earned over $1.2 billion in total earnings during his stellar boxing career, including from his lucrative payday against Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor. When Paul was shown a check in the video, he purposefully disclosed that there was money inside the check and added, "You know what we do, Floyd Money Mayweather, CEO of Zeus. I appreciate you. You guys always do great business. That's 6 Zoes. It's not bad. It's a deal. I appreciate it." Then in a subsequent interview, he made fun of Eddie Hearn by claiming that he only does exhibitions because he loves the sport and feels like it. In the realm of combat sports, Floyd Mayweather is regarded as the greatest moneymaker in boxing history. Mayweather, 47, had a flawless professional boxing career and retired with an unprecedented 50-0 record. During his 50 fights, he generated billions of dollars in revenue, making him the biggest boxing draw. Though he finished his professional boxing career with a huge payday in one of the biggest fights in sports history against former 2-division UFC champion Conor McGregor, Mayweather has also been accused of not being very smart with his money. That's all for now. For the best updates on news moments, events, and actions in the boxing world, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications to be notified when we drop quality content like this. Until the next Time, peace out. Heron's remarks are undoubtedly valid.